What is up, podcast, and welcome to the RaysFlavs Podcast Network. We have another amazing show for you today. My guest is a host of 3 podcasts. That's right, 3 podcasts. I can barely handle one. This man has 3, and these 3 podcasts are rated the top 10 podcast of all podcasts all over the world. And if that were not enough, my guest also helps produce 5 other podcasts, which are rated in the top 5% of podcasts. Please help me welcome Mr. Phil Better. What's up, Phil?
Hi, Ray. Man, when someone else reads out your accomplishments and you're like, I do a lot, God. And not to toot my own horn, but I do 4 shows.
4 shows, not
yeah, 3. I have 4 shows.
Now. All right, we got to update the Instagram. Okay, 4 shows.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Like you forget where you have to update bios and all that. So, yes, I am Phil Better, aka Phil Lemieux. If you want my non-stage name, my actual name is Phil Lemieux, but I go by Phil Better. Just
you
because
heard it first here on RaysFlavs Podcast.
Just because it's easier for people to say better than Lemieux, and so I rather have an easy time. Plus, I like to make people feel better. But look at me making jokes on my own name.
That's what the Phil Better brand is all about. We're going to get into it. Is Lemieux, is that French? You're in Quebec, right?
Yeah, I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So I am French Canadian, but also Irish and Scottish. So it's a nice little mix of some of my history.
All the good stuff. Fantastic, man. Let's get into that history, bro. So my math was a little wrong. There's one more show. I was going to say you're involved in 8 shows. You're actually involved in 9.
Yeah, so I have 4 that I host and produce exclusively. So I have the Phil Better Show, which was my first show back about 6 years ago. I want to say I started doing that show. It's evolved. It's always been a movie review show, and it's currently in the rebranding process to be a nostalgic look at movies. Me reviewing 90s movies because I grew up in the 90s. I love 90s movies, right? Then there's the Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast, which is my second podcast, where I interview digital entrepreneurs to learn about their story. Similar to you, Ray, how you interview different people and get their story. I love learning about entrepreneurship because it's something that's so unique, because people don't understand what entrepreneurship really is until you get, and since I'm going through that stage in my life, I can get to talk to these entrepreneurs on a different level and get the secrets pretty much from them. So that's what that show is about. Nice. Then I have Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, where I interview podcasters about their show and get them to the meat and bones about why they started their show. What is it about podcasting that they like? Because it is the new medium. Look, terrestrial radio is dead the minute satellite started, and then when we got streaming thanks to iPods, right? We got it in our pockets. Like, we can stream everything now. It's so accessible. Now we don't have to be like, we have to be at TV or at the radio at 8 p.m. to listen to Ray's podcast because we want to hear it. No, I can listen to it, to and from work, while I'm working, while I'm going for a jog. I get all this knowledge. Like, that's what podcasting is, right? So I want to talk to podcasters, learn about them, and help them anywhere I can, because I love helping podcasters, because it is our next medium. We are the future. Podcasters are the future, because it is decentralizing everything. The internet is now finally decentralizing. It's just taking some time, but it is decentralizing it so everybody can be their own media mogul if they want. And then I have the second one is Investing in Yourself, strictly entrepreneurship. Yes, strictly entrepreneurship, but about digital entrepreneurship. So people who make a living online. So they may have a physical brick and mortar business place, but they deal strictly with the web space. So doing Web 3.0, I have had some people on that working in the AR, VR, and MR space. I've had someone in robotics as well. I've had copyright writers. I have had agency owners that specifically focus on LinkedIn growth, to coaches that help people across the world. I have an amazing podcast with a millionaire investor, but also a man who took his side hustle to 7 figures.
Wow.
Multi 7 figures, and I've been
side hustle to 7 figures. That's incredible.
Yeah, and this is like, get this. This man was not like, he's lucking it out. This is a guy who has multiple degrees, was like a real estate lawyer in Dubai, and he was living.
got some brains. He's got some brains.
He's got some brains, and he went from, he was like, I don't want to live in the rat race. He read something about like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which then led him to reading The Snowball Effect, which is the autobiography of Warren Buffett. I'm not sure if it's the official or unofficial autobiography of Warren Buffett. It's just about his life, about investing. And so he started investing in stocks, started looking at Warren Buffett. Like, he tells the story about how he drove 4, I think, Hyundai Accents into the ground, pretty much. Like, he was living as frugally as possible, just investing. And finally, he made enough and through his side hustle, he was able to retire back to Australia. He's like, not even in his 40s, man. He's not even in his 40s.
What's his name?
Retired. Lloyd Ross.
Lloyd Ross, come on the show next time.
I will definitely put you in touch, Ray. Like, I will. Yeah, dude. You look through my plethora of guests. Anybody you say, Phil, I want to speak with this person, I will put you in contact with them, because I love connecting. Awesome. So yeah, that's the digital entrepreneur, and I just like, you get these stories, and you get like listening to them just fills you with this energy to want to become an entrepreneur, because it's like, holy crap, this is like, it's simple how to be an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, it's simple, but like, it's
hard work.
It works. Like, people think it's like just chilling on a beach.
No, it's like, I'm putting in like, so I went from, and I'll talk about my last podcast just quick before I jump into more. It's the Stock Dirty to Me show, which goes live to 50,000 members in a Facebook group, a public Facebook group. We do have a private one where we do go live in there. And we charge a premium for that, because it's a premium service podcast.
That's a subscription podcast.
Yeah, that's a subscription, more one-on-one type things, and those ones don't really get released. But the ones that go live into the group, we help them understand what's going on in the stock market, understand how to evaluate a stock properly, what this news for inflation means to you and your portfolio, how you have to be like, look, we're in a bear market now, we're not in a bull market. So this is where you can actually build your wealth, because stocks are cheap. And we tell them like, look at stocks that have performed over a long period of time, where they're dipping, and they're not always it's just a matter of just flash in a pan jumping up. Like, look at the ones that have been around a long term. Don't look for the short term, look for the long term. And just like teach them like, okay, like, if you don't know anything about stocks, then go for an ETF, because then that's a larger portion. Like, you get
exposure to all, almost, right?
Yeah, it's like you put money in, they manage itself, they pick the stocks for you, and you end up getting money from it, and you just keep doubling down into that until you have a certain amount. We also say, hey, look at investing. Because we have and here's a little workaround. The guy I was talking about, Lloyd, he's also my client. I produce his podcast called Money Grows on Trees.
Oh, damn! So that's one of the ones you produce.
That's one of the podcasts I produce. I produce up to 20 podcasts. I do have like 5 to 6 that 5 to 6 that I actively have my hands producing. The others are more of a consulting role. They come to me with questions like, hey, we need help growing this. What should we do? And I go and I look for a solution that's fitted to them, and they pay me for that. And all I ask is, sometimes it's, there's one school in England called the TWS Sports podcast. And this is a school-based podcast. It's done by the gym teacher, the phys ed teacher of the school, the TWS school.
Oh, wow.
And it's a school for children with special needs, like mainly autistic children.
Where is this again?
This is in England.
In England.
Okay. Yeah, jolly old England. Yes. The teacher reached out to me. He's like, hey, I want some help. This is what I want to do. And the kids are interviewing sports legends in the UK, legends of sports in the UK. And they've had some amazing guests on. Yeah, like amazing.
The kids are getting these guests?
These kids. So you have to understand, look, you have kids asking to come. You have a teacher asking sports guys to come on for kids. That's already like nearly an amazing. You say no, you're a dick, right? And no one wants to be a dick, right? Exactly. But then you throw on top of it, these kids are autistic.
Oh, geez.
So you're like it's a
there is no in that equation.
7th level of hell. You're in the 7th level of hell.
You're down there with the
minute you interact,
you're down there with Charles Manson down there.
The minute you interact with this thing, like oh you run a podcast, you're like, shit, I have to say yes now. I've interacted with them. Like, I can understand like Anthony Joshua and all the big Tyson Fury, the big huge stars in England not interacting because they're like, they get flooded with requests.
Maybe they're busy or whatnot. Yeah,
they're busy.
But
in
most
that,
of them,
but
if they
most
get
of these retired legends,
it's over.
It's over. Yeah, you're like, shit. But
yes.
so I'm like, this is what you do. And the experiences these kids have had from being on the show, like, this is what I'm more happy about. I don't care about signing a millionaire client who I work with. No, I'm looking at this school that I helped. These kids have been able to go to a movie premiere. They've been
like a whole group of them just going to a movie premiere.
Unfortunately, only one of them could go because of like
so many difficulties.
Yeah,
they all have. I'm sure they all.
Yeah, there's all the sensory perceptions and all this. Yeah. So the teacher ended up going, but they did a live. I think they've done 2 live recording, one in their local football club's like field. Like their arenas, so talking with one of the actual stars.
You took the equipment and went down in the arena.
Yeah, he literally, he's like, Phil, he messaged me. I'm like, let's jump on a call. Talked with him and shout out to him, Adam. He's an amazing guy.
That's the teacher.
That's the teacher, and I'll definitely put you in contact with. I just want to make sure because there's a lot of people that I talk with. So give me 1 second. I believe. Yeah, Adam Millichip. He's the teacher. He's an amazing guy. He reached out to me. He's like, Phil, we have this a chance. We have to do a live recording in person. How can we do it? I'm like, look, hey, this is what you need. And I broke down. I'm like, hey, what equipment? What the price range? Like, what am I working with? So
there's some logistics involved, like doing this alone through Zoom.
It's easy, like Zoom, boom, we're done. Computer, problem. You're done. You're set for life. You're
on site. It's a little hectic.
Yeah. So I walked them through. I'm like, okay, what kind of mics do you have? And we worked it. They had luckily they had a budget because they saw the like interest from local communities. They've been in the BBC, local newspapers. There was a relay or something that they were a part of. I don't know if it was for the Olympics or something related to a big organization. They were able to be part of it.
They've got their marketing pieces all together.
Oh, this is
better than us.
Yeah, they're like head and shoulders. I'm like, I just like to be associated with them because I've helped them, like, and Adam
give me the credits.
Yeah, and like this is like one of the great, because I see the kids evolve. Like that's what it was so incredible. Nice. Seeing the kids being like Adam being the main voice in the first couple episodes, because the kids were like, I don't know what to do. This is a new experience. Oh my God, nervous. To the kids like literally handling pretty much the full production value of the show.
So you're seeing, in the beginning, it's the teacher asking questions, blah, 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 doing the thing. And then all of a sudden later on, the kids are doing the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Did you see?
So they're coming out of their shell. They've just gotten a new co-host because I think one of the co-hosts may be leaving. I'm not sure. But so they have another member of the student body that wants to help out, be on the show, ask the questions. So now they have this opportunity to have multiple shows or multiple episodes being recorded at a time because they can have 2 and 2.
Yeah.
So you have 2 guests going at the same time and you have another teacher involved and it just
And I would assume some of the hosts like cycle out as the kids graduate through, you get a new face.
Yeah, this is their second year, I think. They started it just in COVID when everyone went virtual. Right. And they're looking at that. So it started in, I want to say near the end of 2020. I want to kind of say that he kind of started.
Yeah,
it could be around there, 2020, end of 2020, beginning of 2021. I can't really remember, but like it's like they've celebrated a year already. They're doing an amazing job.
What's the name of their show?
The TWS Sports Podcast.
Podcast.
And like what's really cool is as a thank you, they sent me their mug.
Oh, there it is. Oh, hell yeah!
Their mug, and they got a little. It's awesome coaster for it, and it like sits on my desk because like I get to look at it and I'm like, okay, this person, Adam, is the podcaster that I want to reach with my podcast show, because I do help podcasters. They're my ideal person because they don't have the luxury of talking with or spending $5,000 to get a coach to help them build a business. I'll help you build things for free. Like that's what I love to do. I go live in my group. I don't want to pitch anybody and I hate pitching because I think it's cheap, but I go live in my group and I give away secrets. I say, hey, do this, this, and this. This is what this show is doing. I'll do the research for you. You guys can just soak it up and then you can run with it. Whether you want to hire me to set up everything, that's where you come to me and you pay me, but I'll give away my knowledge because I do not care because it's already out there. People are on YouTube doing it. I'm just spending the time finding the research, making it a little more concise, a little better for me to understand. And you guys and my audience takes it up. And I love helping podcasters. It's my job. I want everybody, because I know what money gets. Like, my main goal is to help everybody get enough money so that they can quit their 9 to 5 and they can do whatever the hell they want. Like, look, the happiest I've been is since I've quit my 9 to 5. Nice. I used to work for a major corporation, a financial institution here in Canada. Used to be in their fraud analysis department, helping out, stopping fraud, payments on credit cards, this and that. And then I moved over to their help desk, which would be their back end. So I would be dealing only with employees, either at the branch level or in the call center.
Oh, wow.
And I was, between the transition, I burnt out. So it was the beginning of 2020. I burnt out. It was February. I went on burnout, but in November was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Was it just the dealing with, because you're not dealing with customers anymore? It sounds like you were dealing with the employees and the issues.
So what happened was end of 2019, I was 300 pounds. I had just ended a 6-year relationship that, looking back, it was toxic, and it like nothing towards the girl. Like, I have nothing towards my ex. She and I were just, we were good, but good. But then it just like, I was going in a dark path because I wasn't happy, and she didn't know how to support me. So it kind of like, we were only together because it was convenient and it was comfortable.
Because of that issue, do you think like sometimes people get together and they kind of are together because of that issue?
Yeah, sometimes it is like that. Right. Like, I was with her, I wasn't mature enough to be in the relationship. Like, there was a lot of work was on me, and I take a lot of the blame was on me and where I was as a person. I wasn't a happy person at the time. And then we broke up 2019, my birthday in November. I have an argument with my mother over Christmas ornaments.
Christmas ornaments. That's when it gets bad.
Yeah.
When the dangly things on the tree is pissing you off. It wasn't
not even. So my parents had downsized from the house because we all moved out. So my mom's like, why do we have this big empty house? Screw this. Downsize into a condo. And they're like, we're not going to be hosting Christmas here because it's too small for the family. So we're going to go to my sister's place. Right. Because my sister has a house because she's starting a family, yada, 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 the next generation, blah, blah, blah. Nice. So my mom's like, I'm giving away all the Christmas ornaments. So if you guys want it, you need to come and get it. Ooh. We come over to my parents' house. I'm a miserable SOB, right?
These are the family heirlooms. Everybody's coming to the house.
Yeah. And I'm like, I just blow up. Like, all the rage, all the anger just bellows out. I get into a screaming match with my mother. I have my nephew he's 4 now. Jesus, he's 4. So he was probably about 1 or something like that. Doesn't know what's going on. My brother-in-law's there. My brother's there. It's like, it's a shit show.
Oh my God.
And then my mom's like, just walks off. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. My dad's like, okay, you need to go see the doctor. I go see my family physician. He subscribes some medication that I have for 2 months. Then at the end of January 2021, was it 2021? No, 2020. Yeah, it was January 2020. The 31st, I go in, I'm like, this is not working. I need a leave of absence. My brain's going to explode. And my mental health is too important. Go into the office, drop off it. My boss was completely understandable. He saw it coming a mile away, but he didn't know how to get to me. Like, this is all hindsight 2020 looking back. And luckily the February 1st, I got a call from the therapist that my doctor put me in contact with. The following week, I went into therapy. I did therapy for 6 months weekly. Wow. I was also 300 pounds. Okay. At the start of 2020, I was 300 pounds. By the end, by 1 year later, I had lost 80 pounds. And the way I lost 80 pounds, I would walk to my therapist. So during the first month of therapy, I would walk, and she was about a 15-minute walk from my place. So I walked to her place, be sweaty, downing water because I'm 300 pounds walking, and like it's still kind of cold, but I got.
How many miles are we talking about? A mile?
It's 15 minutes. It's maybe a half mile. I don't know because I don't do conversion. I'm like, 15, it's time. Yeah, 15-minute walk.
Minutes. That could be a mile and a half.
Yeah, so we do kilometers up here, so I don't know what it is in
So
miles.
probably like yeah.
So anyways, like I did that for like 4 weeks straight, and I would walk every day. I'm like, okay, I'm walking once a week. Let's just do 15 minutes. Like I would just walk 15 minutes just around the block. That just started doing stuff. Then COVID hit and everything got locked down. So we started doing virtual, and I'm like, I still need to get out. So, and we here in Quebec, we had a curfew at one point. And so like, and we weren't allowed out, we were locked down, this and that. So it kind of got to me there, but therapy helped. And then I just started walking a lot more. And now I walk about 20K steps a day.
That's amazing. So, so when you said I lost weight, I mean, my mind goes to, because you were going through so much, so many relationship issues with your girlfriend, with your family. Immediately my mind went to, okay, hopefully this is a healthy loss. Like you didn't get depressed and you lost.
No. It was a full health.
Going in the right direction.
Yeah, I was.
Point. Like,
so yeah, I did intermittent fasting.
Nice.
So 16 hours off, 8 hours eating. And I would be smaller meals because I was like, I'm taking charge of my life. Like I started as I was during the burnout, like I was sitting at home doing nothing. So I would walk and I would watch motivational videos. I would watch how people made money online because I'm like, I can't live in this 9 to 5 anymore. I can't. I'm going to burn out. It's going to kill me.
Wow.
Because I knew this is not me. So I started watching a whole bunch of videos on how to be better, how to be like more like all this stuff, right? And trying things and failing horribly because I didn't understand it because I was looking at it from a money point of view because I was like, I need money to escape. So it's money instead of being like a value first. A lot of Gary V stuff, like just looking 100%. At motivational stuff just to be better. How can I do it? And then near the end, that's why I launched the Entrepreneur Podcast at the end of 2020.
That was the first podcast?
That's the second podcast. So I launched my first one just to talk about movies and think, I'll become like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But I learned so much. Like it was my greatest failure, but also my greatest success because of what it taught me, the Feel Better show. But it's still going.
So
it still goes. It's still going. Yeah. That's my hobby podcast. Like I don't put 1,000 hours of effort into it. It's just, I get to watch a movie, review it with my buddy, and that's it.
That's your baby though. That's your killer show that you like. I'm sure you have fun doing that one.
It's the most fun because it goes off the rails. I don't have to worry because as long as I keep it around movies, I'm fine. Whereas when I'm in my digital entrepreneur podcast, I'm interviewing people. So it's more professional. When I'm doing the podcast series, I'm interviewing or I'm teaching because sometimes I release the episodes in the series, right? Or any interview I do on a podcast, I release on that feed so that people can hear all the good that I get or all the stories or whatever comes out of it.
Yeah.
So where was I going? There's so much. I launched the Entrepreneur Podcast in November. I had the idea in October. November, I started recording. December 1st, I launched. By March, I had an award for the best business podcast.
Holy moly.
2020. Yeah.
From where?
From the Scene Snobs. It was a podcast network. Guy's named Mick Manhattan. He launched multiple podcasts. Thousands of downloads. It's another movie review. He did something called the Snobbies, which is multiple different categories. I was against some amazing competition and like for a brand new podcast to win it so quickly. And I think I hit 100,000 downloads within 6 months.
100,000 downloads?
Oh yeah.
God, dude.
And I've gone close to 200 interviews with entrepreneurs. We're at season 8 now. I've made connections with people that own the largest rural startup incubator in France, rugby teams, millionaires, people who have changed their life, interviewed and connected with people launching sports networks, 2-time best-selling authors, TED speakers, someone who's been interviewed by Larry King, Knut Blackson, an amazing, he wanted to be on the show talking about his latest book, and it was just the power of surrender, like all these amazing things.
How did you, was it always these great guests, or is it like a step-by-step process where you're like, the guests get better and better, or
it comes and goes? So for the digital entrepreneurship, I do niche down to specifics. I do sometimes when I look for major guests. I go get those big guests. Sometimes I'm lucky that they come to me because they heard Canute's episode. They're like, hey, heard Canute's episode. You did an amazing job. I would love to come on and talk about this. And it's like, and then I do a quick little thing. I'm like, oh my God, like, holy shit. Sometimes it's like I got Travis Chappell on my podcast, the guy who runs Guestio and Build Your Network, who's interviewed like over 600 entrepreneurs, and like these guys like Grant Cardone, Molly Bloom, Shaquille O'Neal, like these huge names in the entrepreneurial world, like Dan Loke, I believe he's interviewed as well. And all it was I was watching him talk about the launch of Guestio and his how he lands great guests. Instagrammed it, said, always keep like learning. And then he commented, thanks. And I'm like, hey, I would love to have you on my show. And he's like, yeah, send an email to this. And I'm like, holy shit.
And Guestio, what's Guestio? Is that type?
So Guestio is a way for both guests and podcasts to monetize their show. Guestio, you can end up paying for guys like John Lee Dumas, Manny Pacquiao, Les Brown to come on your podcast, so you can use their influence to grow your show.
Oh, okay. Imagine so you pay those guys to come on the show.
Yeah.
Exponentially, it's going to grow.
Yeah, because if you say you have John Lee Dumas, everybody who knows who John Lee Dumas is going to be a holy shit. You have John Lee Dumas.
Holy.
And when you send it out to, you go into a Facebook group and you're like, I interviewed John Lee Dumas about this, this, and this on the show. Here's some takeaways. Boom. Let me know if you want to hear the episode. Put the link in a comment down below. Your engagement's going to go up because these are known people. Like imagine a sports podcast getting Manny Pacquiao, a nobody from Jersey, getting Manny Pacquiao on their podcast, or a guy from, Ohio who has no chance of going to Guestio, finding these amazing entrepreneurs, and podcasters can get them on. So, and you can end up, monetizing, because if they have an affiliate link, I know John Lee Dumas has some affiliate links, so you can end up monetizing that because you get more downloads onto it, And like I got him on my podcast. I'm like, holy shit, this is insane.
Guestio, Guesio.
Guest.
Guest.io.
Yeah, guest.io.
Putting that in my phone real quick as we speak. Crazy. That's dope, man. That's crazy.
Another guy I just had a chance to interview is Justin. I can't pronounce his last name because I'm horrible with last names, but he has this show where he helps podcasters grow. He just came on. We had this amazing talk. I just had a talk with, just before jumping on the call with you, with this lady named Krista, who's hosting a Podcasters at Sea event, a cruise for podcasters.
What?
Yeah, I know, my guy.
That's because we don't have anything. We
have Podfest. There's a couple convention, but this is at sea, man.
This is at sea.
Yeah. So talking with her about maybe a joint venture, something like that, working. So like, hey, like it's like, oh my God, this is great. So it's like there's a lot of great stuff. Like my job, like what I love analyzing and checking out. So I know how to monetize everybody's podcast. Like I can tell you, Ray, if you haven't had a way of monetizing your podcast, this is what you do. You do a Patreon special, and it's at $5. You get early access to the episodes. At $15, you get to choose topics or questions that I ask my guests, and at $30, you get to be because you use Zoom, you get 10 people, boom, you have an audience, and then afterwards, you know, they can be a live audience and they can ask questions during the show. Boom, like there you go. You got 3 different.
Thank you very much.
Boom, and you're monetized. And here's what you do: you look at a podcast. There's a podcast called Shits and Gigs. Okay,
Shits and Gigs.
SHXTSGIGS, I believe, or something like that. If you put in SHX, you should find them. They're 2 Brits. They're amazing guys. They've only been like 2 to 3 years they've been podcasting, but within the first 10 minutes, they do an ad for their Patreon and call their Patreon people the Cult Babies.
The Cult Babies.
They have, look at this. They have nearly 6,500, I think, at the time. They could be a bit more now, but around 6,500 Patreon supporters. That's not including sales of merch. So if you look at their lowest tier, they're making about $30K a year or a month from their Patreon.
$30K a month?
a month from their Patreon at 6,500 people at like $5-10, and then they have a second and third tier. I'm doing like I'm being conservative as all hell. Then you look at their YouTube money, what they're earning. They're probably earning another 30 to 100K depending on their size and what their CPM is.
Sure.
Then they have merch. Now imagine they have merch. If every one of those 6,500 people buy one piece of merch at $20,
one hat.
One hat, and they get a discount code for 30% off. Anybody's going to be getting that 30. So you lose a bit of profits in there, but you have mass volume. And then you can say, hey, I sold X amount of volume, of hats, and like you guys sold out. And then that's social proofing to you. And people were going to want to listen and go, why are people wanting these hats? And with your podcast.
That's another question I have. Like, so Joe Smo wants to do Patreon.
Yeah.
But his question is like, why would people pay $5 for me? Like, so for instance, why would
there are 3 billion people on Facebook? 3 billion people on Facebook, and Facebook is looking to capture more of the market. Facebook is doing all the work for you to find. They're literally getting your ideal audience member on their platform. All you have to do is walk out and go, hi, here's a sign, follow me. Like, this is how simple it is. Facebook's doing all the marketing for you. As long as you post engaging content,
right?
You have content that people are looking for. You have to know who your ideal audience member is. Okay?
Right.
When you're a podcaster, content creator, salesman, whatever, you need to know, who are you talking to? Who is the one person you want to sit down, listen to your show, watch your show, listen to your sales pitch, read your copy, whatever it is. You need to know that one person that you're selling to.
Yeah, that's one of the things we learned on our Grow the Show group is that narrowing down the audience to that it's specific, and then it just grows from there.
Specific, and you grow from there. Like the TWS Sports Podcast, they know their niche. It is people who enjoy UK legends, sports legends, period. Boom. But then they're like, now we're going to add a twitch to it, because they don't like, they can go general because they want to hear from, they have a heart for children asking these questions who are artistic. So you're hitting them with multiple people. You have multiple niches. So you got the people who love sports legends, because England loves their sports stars.
Oh, they go crazy.
Right? So you got people going to listen to that because no one's interviewing the legends. They're all interviewing the current stars because they want to capture. But no, you talk to the older generation. You talk the older generations. Now you throw in the kids, so the grandparents are going to love that and they're going to share it because listen to little Timmy, right? And then you have also the autistic community helping out, because they are more supportive than anything I've ever seen. So
and all these groups are on Facebook. Dude, I didn't even think of. That's it. Holy crap.
It's not easy. There's no easy path to money, to success. It's simple. It's a simple thing.
Sure.
Show up every single day, provide value, and show that you have something to offer. I offer entrepreneurs the opportunity to hire me so I can, in essence, either create a lead generating podcast for them, a money making podcast for them, or brand growth podcast for them. That's what I offer entrepreneurs.
That's awesome.
What I offer podcasters are different ways to monetize and grow your show through whatever means. You tell me you don't want to get a sponsorship, boom. You don't want to do sales, boom. I got you. I know different ways.
You got multiple ways, not just one.
I know. My job, I love learning how to make money, and I love making money for people.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
what I love. I love making money for people, because once you have money, you see what it can get you, and what it gets you is freedom. Or you know what freedom is? To do whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want. Like, I remember, if everybody asked, if you had all the money, if you had money wasn't a question, what would you do? I would be like, I would travel. People are like, I'd travel. I'm like, money's not an issue. I'd learn. Like, I want to go to, Costa Rica. I want to build a sloth sanctuary, build that out. Like, because I love sloths. Sloths are the greatest
dude, that's the greatest animal ever, dude.
Right?
I love sloths,
they're just so chill. They're the chillest of life. They're just like, yo, I'm here.
They take their time.
Yeah,
there's no rush.
Get it. Yeah, life
is too rushy.
There's only two certainties in life: the day you're born, the day you die. Yes. In between is a dash. You have to live that every single day, and however you want to live it is the way you live it. That's how I look at it. I want to help people make money. Boom. End of discussion. If I can make you money, if you hear something I say, like, Ray, I just gave you an opportune method, $5, $15, and $30. Boom. You got, and it's no extra work for you. The one extra work is, I have to upload my episode a little early.
Yeah.
That's all the work. The rest of it is, here's some questions you guys can vote, or give me, this is who I'm asking. Here's some links. What questions do you want answered? Boom. That's a little bit more work for you at the $15. And then at the 30, here's the link to the Zoom meeting. We're taking place on this day, or you can do StreamYard, stream right into a private Facebook group, and you can grow that group, RaysFlavs backstage access. You can even do OnlyFans and give backstage things by, filming on your phone going, hey, I'm about to go live with, Phil Better, the podcast mogul who just helped me monetize my podcast 80 ways since Sunday, and you post that on OnlyFans, and you use the Ray started on OnlyFans, and people they associate OnlyFans with one type of work, right? So they start going over and they find that I
kept my clothes on.
Kept your clothes on, and all it is backstage
amazing.
access to your podcast. But you can do it a little, you can be a little showing a little skin on the podcast,
little skin in there.
Yeah, you can have fun with it, and that's what they're paying the OnlyFans for. People don't understand. Companies are going to find ways for them to make money and monetize you. Your job is to maximize the amount of money you can get out of those platforms.
Nice.
It's by providing as much value as you possibly can.
That's huge. It's huge, man. Talk more about, Jesus, that's amazing. First of all, it's amazing because we have a lot to talk about offsite now.
You're going to be like, Phil, I want to book you for 18 years.
Yeah, Phil, we're gonna have you here every month, by the way, just as an update, and training for myself as well as my audience. Jesus, this is amazing. So besides, because when I first met you through the Grow the Show group on Facebook, when you were like one of the only dudes was like, hey, I'll do the show. I'll do your show. Number one. And that was great. But number two, you immediately talked about, I want to talk about how I help people. And it seems like that's where your heart's at. You like to help people, and it's not just like money wise. You talked a lot about how podcasting itself helps people. Can you talk about how that happens? How does podcast? I know for me.
Okay, here I have the perfect story.
Go.
Here's the thing. Back in 2021, I believe, a young podcaster who hadn't started his podcast reached out to me. He's like, hey, I want to start a podcast. So I went through the normal questions. Who do you want to serve? Da 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 da. He came out a show called Talking with Experts. Okay. This is a show where and I dubbed him the expert whisperer because you listen to his podcast, he's getting nuggets from these experts, like SEO experts. He's getting,
what's the show called again?
Talking with Experts.
Talking with Experts. And look that up.
With Chris Cowden. He's an amazing guy. And so he reached out to me. I'm like, this is what you do. And every once in a while he would message me. I'm like doing this, and I helped him find a hosting platform, this and that. And
nice.
Just develop his confidence as a person. And he's amazing at networking. He's doing great. His podcast led to him landing a job at AppSumo, which is the #1 marketplace for entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs.
What? What is it? What does that app do? It's an app?
No, it's a marketplace. So you go to appsumo.com and you can find CRMs. You can find lead generating software. You can find email marketing software. You can find a whole bunch of stuff for different things. They have lifetime deals. You go there, and if you're looking for something on a relatively cheap or a new company that's launching something, you can end up building your business from it. They have also originals. So for my business, I use their SendFox and TidyCal. SendFox is my email marketer. I create landing pages and email automations and email sending out to my staff, and not to my staff, but to my audience. And then TidyCal is where I book all my meetings. So it's a different thing to Calendly, and it helps me.
Heck? Mm-hmm. So it has all these little marketing platforms.
Tools. Yeah. It is like one of, I got another podcaster on, and he's like, Phil, it's like crack cocaine. It's like, I can't stop buying stuff. I can't. I'm like, stop it, man. Your wife's going to kill me already.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so that's what it is. So he started working for there. He started as like a small position, moved up, and then got poached poached from the company by another company to be the COO or head of sales or something like that. And like it went from a meek guy to this guy. He's also traveled from England over to Montreal, visited me, visited another friend in Ontario, and then went down to the States, drove across the I think he did Nevada into to Cali and up the coast. Like he's doing this whole thing, and like,
but it all started with talking to you.
Yeah.
He asked you a couple things. Yeah. You got a ball rolling, and
it just came out from there. Then there's another guy, another podcaster that I helped monetize his by doing an affiliate program that was which fit his niche. He ended up working with and becoming the official podcaster for Free Rick Ross.
Oh, and
Free Rick Ross's label and media empire, but also helping him end up landing some acting gigs and some stand-up gigs as well for him. So like just chatting with him and getting him and pumping up. All I am is like, I say I'm a consultant, but I'm a hype man. Nice. I will hype you the hell up. Like if you're like, Phil, I'm not sure. I'm like, do it.
There we
go.
I
do it. Like I go to a pub that I used to work at, and I talk with the staff, and one of the staff members, I'm going to keep her off the air, keep her privacy. She deserves it. Absolutely. But she was kind of like, she's like, oh, Phil, I don't know what's going on. This and that. Michael, look, you're going to get your master's within a couple of months. Like this girl is brilliant, smart, like book smart.
Wow. She's about to get her master's?
Yeah, her master's.
So she's gone way farther than most of us.
Oh, yeah. Like she's in the 1% of smart people here.
Yeah.
And it's not in like I'm getting my master's in literature. No, she's doing like pharmaceutical, like smart people stuff, like
chemicals and
me and you go. Yeah, it's like Flugen Flag and what? Mm-hmm. Like we look at it, we're like that's not a word.
We wouldn't take our time to even be in that.
Yeah, she's shown me her textbook, and I'm like, those are not words. Like those, why are there 8 vowels together with a 1 consonant? Like that's not a word.
Like crazy.
She's super smart, and she's like super worried because she's like, I don't know if this is what I want. And I'm like, you are 22 years old, child. Like I'm not like I'm talking like I'm like 95. I'm 36. So like I've gone through my 20s and done the bad choice, like what I would consider the bad choice.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the right choice for me. I went down a path when I shouldn't have gone. I should have went left. I went right, or whatever the saying.
20s was fun. 20s was a good time.
Yes and no. I could done without
as long as we got out of it and we made it. We made it.
I survived. That's the thing. And I looked at her. I'm like, look, you're 22. You're getting your master's. You're fucking smart. Excuse my language if you have to bleep it out. I apologize.
Oh yeah, we'll just click the explicit button. I'll put the notes. Perfect.
And I'm like, you can do whatever you want. What is something what is a goal you've always wanted to do? She's like, I want to climb this mountain. It's in Africa. And I'm like, okay, you have until June to plan it all out. And
you created a date.
I was like,
that's the biggest problem, right? Is we procrastinate and we don't create the time we're going to do it and put it on.
I'm going to do it by this date. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, look, I'm going to be on your butt every single time I come here. Every time I see you, I text her. I'm holding her accountable. I'm like, what's going on? And so she's talking like this. She's like, oh my God, I talked with my mother. Like a few weeks later, she's like, I talked with my mother. She introduced me to this person whose daughter is doing coffee work at farms in the area, coffee farms in and around the African area that she's going to be climbing this mountain at.
So now we have a clue. We're getting there.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, she's like, maybe after I climb the mountain, I'll go work on these farms. I'm like, do it. Because she wants to go into sustainable coffee or something like that. Like she wants to, I don't understand it. Look, I don't question
this is the 22-year-old mind. You totally see
it's like you went down pharmaceutical and you're over at organic coffee. Cool. I'll work with what I got. I will encourage you to do whatever you want until you find your happiness.
She's got plenty of time, so that's the good news.
Like you got at least 80 years on you, girl. Like relax. Like you don't have to figure shit out now. I don't. I'm 36. I'm going to be. God,
you're good. You got at least 10 years before you have to say, I got to do this only.
Yeah, right. I got 10 years.
You don't have to narrow it down yet, Bill. You're good.
I just need to figure some stuff out, get stuff in place. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool. We got this. And so like, we're just talking and I'm just hyping her up. And like, I'm not giving her any answers to anything because she's just talking to me. And I'm like, okay, what about this? And she's like, oh, I can do this, da, da, da. And it's like, I'm seeing this and like, I'm not getting paid for this. This is something I'm helping some person not go down the wrong path, find something. Maybe like she climbs a mountain. She's like, no, I'm done. I'm going back to the safety of Montreal.
Heights.
Yeah, I'm done. You know, I'm not helping out nobody. I want a cushy job. Like, cool. You figured out something. You figured something out. You know, you took that leap. You sought discomfort. And that's all I want. I want people to figure out what makes them happy. Do what makes you happy. It's like what Gary Vee says and what everybody's been saying for like generations. Find something that makes you happy and you won't work a day in your life.
100%.
I sit and talk all day. I love talking, and it's really weird because I also
that's what I want to do, by the way. I want to sit and
listen,
talk.
I told you exactly what you have to do.
Now I know what to do.
Yeah, I gave you like everybody
roadmap.
who's listening to this that is a podcaster. Here's what you do: $5 behind the early access and behind the scenes. Like I'll post a picture every once in a while, let them know what's going on. Hey, these are the guests coming up. At the $15, they obviously get the $5, but also they get behind the scene access. They also get to ask questions. Hey, I want this question asked about this person. Could you ask them about this? How did they make their first million or whatever it is, right?
Right, because you already know who's coming, so you just tell them.
They can ask the questions, and it does better work for you. It's easier work for you because it's less work for you. You know,
then I don't have to think of the questions for 5 days.
You're doing the wisdom of the crowd, and then at the $30, great TV show, by the way. Finished way before it was due. Anyways, and then you have at the $30, you have either live audience, and you limit it. You make it limited, so you make it.
It's kind of interesting because you have the link for StreamYards, and you just send it to only those people.
Yeah,
and that's what they're getting for that $30.
You make a Google Meet. Right. And you go, okay, I have their emails. You put them as the invite to it. And StreamYard allows you up to 10 people, I think, if you're on their basic plan there and they're in the audience. You keep them in the green room. You see them. They can see and hear everything, but they can't talk. But you have the private chat. You also have the private green.
That's right. Dude.
There's the private chat, and they get access to asking questions where your guests can see it and you can bring it up on the video.
Right. There's a private chat on the side. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So look, here's how you have to run your show. Okay, I'm saying you as the universal, run it like a TV show. Look at what TV shows are doing. Look at what sports shows are doing. Look at what your niche is, and then try and mimic it, because they already solved everything. If you want to run a show like Larry King or Howard Stern or Barbara Walters or whoever you want to be, where you're interviewing guests,
it's all been done. So
all you have to do is go copy paste and just move pieces around and make it fit for who you are. So like you, Ray, you have your podcast, you know who your audience is. You want to inspire people. You want to help people learn and that. And then you go, okay, this is what I want to offer. I know people are I can guarantee you people will want to be there when you record live. Who wouldn't want to be there recording live on a show?
That's freaking awesome.
Like you have that audience and what you do. And it doesn't matter if you don't have anybody. Who cares? It does not matter. Because you still offer it, because eventually, as when you put in the work, you build up the momentum, you will get there. Someone may just want the early access. That's $5. Boom. I know a guy who doubled his Patreon because what they did is they saved their Patreon money that they had from their couple investors, or Patreons.
Right.
Had a under 10, I think. They saved it up for a year. They got $300. Then they reinvested it by paying podcasters in their same niche to play an ad on their show. Wait, it doubled their Patreon subscriptions, but also the Patreon people who are already subscribed moved up a tier.
What? So reinvest now? That's a whole nother ball game you're talking about, bro. That's a whole now you're reinvesting that Patreon. It's going to another tier. Your whole audience is going to another tier that you like right now. I'm at that point where I don't even think people will do it. No, we're talking about they'll not only do it, they'll move to the next notch. That's incredible. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. So how do you Jesus, I'm befuddled.
I know. I do that. I get like that with guests too when they drop some knowledge bombs and you're like, holy shit, I didn't even think of that.
Oh my God, that's crazy. How do you go back to okay, the girl with the master's degree or other people? Me, for example, there's moments where you just feel like you don't have that mojo. is it your face? What is it about you, Phil, that makes people like super, like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to be on the network television tomorrow. What is it because you always inspire people. Like, how do you get people out of that rut of like, I don't have the mojo, and then boom, I feel like I could run a television show tomorrow because I talked to Phil. How do you get people to feel better?
Every interaction I have, I look at how I can leave that person feeling better. It's simple as that. Like, look, I'll talk to 100 people, and my goal, like I set one goal for me every day is to make one person smile. So if I make one person smile, my day is set. So every additional person, I have accomplished more in my day. So that's all. I just want the world to be happy. There's enough hate in this world and we've gone through years of hate. I'm done. I wasn't easily. Yes. I was negative for so effing long. And now I'm happy. And like, I got people like, oh, Phil, you look great. And like, I thought it was always because I was losing weight, but it was because of my energy. I say, like, there's a lot of things that I kind of believe, I don't believe. And I'm like, look, it kind of works and it doesn't. Like, by saying affirmations in the morning, I say affirmations in the morning. Sure. Like I will, like, I have something that I say every morning in the mirror before I leave my apartment. Right. And I literally left my apartment one day, went to a place and I forgot it. I forgot to say it. I texted my partner and I was like, hey, can you send me the picture of this, please? Then she texted it to me, went to the bathroom. I literally read it in the bathroom of the place I was at because I was like, this is part of my routine. I try and have a daily routine. My goal is just to leave the world better than it is. My legacy, I want people to be like, Phil helped me. I don't care how I helped you. I can help you put a smile on your face. I can help you make billions of dollars. I can help you find the love of your life, find the passion of your life. I don't care what it is. I just want to have people say, Phil, help me.
Dude, that's huge because you're starting off from a place where it's like, first of all, I just want to make one person smile. You're starting with that foundation. Like if we all woke up like with that in mind, like that's huge. And then the second part of that is just like, I'll help you with whatever it's crazy. That's and then the other part you said was the affirmations. Now, here's why I think that's huge. We as humans think a lot of thoughts, and number one, that's a lot of people's biggest issues is the thoughts, and most of those thoughts are negative, are self-doubting, self-putting down, those type of things. So what affirmations does is the opposite of that. It puts positive thoughts in your head, positive affirmations, things that, you maybe there's things that you don't even believe that you can do. And as you put those in your mind over and over and over and over again, there's this thing that happens where you start to, because your mind will find that thing. Yeah. Your mind's smart enough to find that thing and it will find it, but you got to put it in there and let it go.
Yeah, it's so I don't have a lot of affirmations. It's just one simple thing that says believe, right? I don't want to read it out because it's my special little thing, but yeah, that's your thing. It's called Believe, and it's just talking about believing. And it's just like that one moment that's just like, yes, I can do this. Because if I can believe in myself, anything's possible. Like, look, there are people who said we would never get to the moon, and one crazy guy was like, yes, we will. I will make it so that we get to the moon. Some crazy guy was like, I'm going to make a self-driving car. We have Tesla. Guy was like, you know what? I want to make a boring company so that we can get from LA to New York within 4 hours. And he starts learning how to make a hyperloop. Like, people say it's impossible, and then the impossible is done. Anything the mind. So I also read Think and Grow Rich. So anything the mind can conceive, the person can do. You can create. The world can be created. Look, there's a lot of people said we would never have land on the moon. Like I have a phone. This cell phone has more computing power than what we had to land on the moon. Regardless of whether you believe it or not, I don't have time to argue that. You believe what you believe. But there's enough computing power that we can land on Mars. We can land on the moon tenfold. Like people said it was impossible to fly or to run the mile under a certain time, and people keep destroying it. Look at Usain Bolt, he's a marvel. Or like swimming, look at John and Michael Phelps. Like, and people are like, oh, it's impossible to do this, and they break records constantly. New records are being created just to show off how amazing we are. Humans are crazy.
Humans are crazy at breaking those borders, those limits that we put out, we give ourselves.
There is no limit except for what the limit you put onto yourself. So if you say, I'll never be able to do it, you're right, you won't. And like I used to quote Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. And I was like, I don't really understand. It's because you don't try to do something. You actively do it. So if I try to become famous, I'm not trying anymore. I'm doing it. I will become famous if I continue down a certain path. If I don't do it, congratulations, I did not do it. I did it. I didn't. I do or I do not. There is no trying in life. You're actively doing it.
Boom. How wise was that of Yoda? Because if you're trying, it took
me 36 years to figure out what Yoda was talking about.
You just busted it out right there, bro. You just I did that, dude. You just explained it to me well, because now I'm like, dude, if you try, you're in a mindset of already failing. Because you're trying, you're telling your mind like, I probably can't because I'm going to try. So you have to just do. That's a different mindset.
The only way you fail is if you stop trying. That's when you stop. That's when you fail completely. If you look at all the successful people, the people who are actually successful, they have thousands of failures behind you. Like look at Ben Franklin doing the light bulb. I think it's him who created the light bulb. He says, I found 999 ways of failing.
Right.
Only one way that works.
Correct.
That's an entrepreneur. People forget that's what success is guys like Mr. Beast doing 1,000 videos before he found the concept that just took him and skyrocketed him to becoming the first billionaire of YouTube.
Right. It's embracing.
And there are people who've never heard of Mr. Beast. And I'm like, you've never heard of Mr. Beast? He's going to be the first billionaire of YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, no way. And I'm like, you show him different videos and you talk about what he does and all the channels he has. And I'm like, why aren't YouTubers following what Mr. Beast does?
It's a pattern.
Like, he's doing exactly what you need. Don't copy his videos for verbatim, but watch what he does. He puts in the work and he reinvests the video. Like he talks about how the first check he got from YouTube, he reinvested into a better camera.
Yes.
And
most of the money he makes, he reinvested it.
His Squid Games cost $3.6 million, I think.
Yep.
That he recreated. $3.6 million. And it tripled the revenue. But he just took it and then built a Willy Wonka factory afterwards. And he does another, he gives away money.
To give it away.
He launched a restaurant.
Right.
He launched a friggin' restaurant.
First he launched the food virtually to other restaurants.
And now he has a physical restaurant.
Now he has a physical restaurant.
Well, so when he launched it, he rented out a restaurant. So they had a physical location that shut down the road.
What?
They had the cops there handling traffic because it was so massive.
Oh my God.
He has gone from a small bedroom to a massive studio that he had to have custom built to host his videos, because he films 3 to 4 videos a week or like a month.
Yeah, he's got like land and like warehouses that building video
for videos, because he films so many videos at a time. Because if you think about it, hey, this guy, how long can you last in this room? Well, I have to build that room. I have to have a staff watching it, but I need to put out more content. So I have to have another thing going on at this time and this thing and this. So I'm jumping around, doing my other things, doing this, that, and you're seeing all this crazy stuff that this guy's doing. And you're like, holy shit. And people it's easy to copy because he's already built it. Like, look at what he's done. Just copy what he's done. There are YouTubers out there telling you exactly how to make money on YouTube and what you should be doing to create it. Follow them. Follow people who are doing Twitter, TikTok, like all whatever. Find like Grow the Show says, Kevin says, find one social media platform, double down on it, triple down on it until you hit 10K. Once you hit 10K, people are going to ask you, how do you get 10K?
Damn.
Follow me on this platform.
Hell yeah.
Everything how to make money has been made. Has been done, documented thousands of times. Just document it. Do what Gary Vee does. Document it yourself. Other people can learn from you and then start paying you to do it.
100%. My brother, it is about 4:00 in Quebec.
Yeah, it is.
It is coming on 1:00 here in Cali. I know you have a very specific rule. You like to do certain things a certain way. That's what makes you successful. You're going to get back to your family. I got to go pick up my kid from school too.
There you go.
I want to have you back to talk about the Pareto principle, because that's part of your time management system. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to have you back. I don't even want to stop the show. I want to just go all night with you.
Listen, okay. Next time we do it, we'll do it we'll do it early in the day. I'll block off 2 hours and we'll do a full 2-hour sprint, just me and you. You can ask me as many of your questions. You know what? This is what here's a challenge for you. This is what I want for you.
Oh, here we go. Here's my homework.
By the time I come back,
yes,
I want your Patreon set up.
Oh my God.
Okay. I want those 3 levels. I don't care if you have Patreon members or not. I just want that set up.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I'm asking. It's not hard.
You sign in and create an account, blah, 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 blah.
And you set up everything and you start filling the feed. That's it. And then when I come back, we'll have a discussion on how you should sell it. But I want you to check out Shits and Gigs podcast, how they do it. And I guarantee you, you'll probably, by the time I come back on, you'll be already having people watching us in the Zoom thing. That's what I'm saying.
Holy crap. That would be amazing, bro. Man, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to promote before we head out?
If you're interested in following me, I have two simple places to go. Go to investinyourselfpod.com. There you can find both the Invest in Yourself Digital Entrepreneur and Podcast Series podcasts. And I believe the Phil Better Show is there as well. That is if you want to learn how to grow your podcast, how to learn to be an entrepreneur in the digital world. You can learn from experts who are already doing it. I am not an expert. I just know how to talk to people. Or if you want to follow me on social media, just go follow me on Instagram at podcaster Phil Better. Those are the 2 places you can find me. And listen, the number 1 rule I always say whenever I sign off on any podcast, my show or anybody else's, remember to invest in yourself.
Awesome, my brother. Thank you so much for doing this. I know it's taking time out of your day, so I appreciate it.
Oh, no, it was a pleasure. No, dude, it was a pleasure to talk with you, talk with your audience. I hope even if one person out of my even if it's you got one piece of actionable advice from this, I have made my week. I've made my month. I'm happy. I can't wait to have you on my show to talk about your podcast and all the growth you're doing in that. And yeah, brother, I can't wait to stay in touch with you and see your growth.
Can't wait, brother. Thank you so much again. Guys, Phil Better, the podcaster Phil Better on Instagram. Investinyourpodcast.com. Investinyourpodcast.com. Find out more about Phil Better and all the wonderful things he does. Check it out on the website. Guys, as well, if you just love this show, if you just continue to love it every single week and you're enjoying this show, don't forget to hit that support link in the description. We'd love to have you support the channel for as little as $1 a month. We'd love to have you do that. But more than anything, we love to see you and listen to, and we love to hear all the comments that you guys are putting in the DM. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show, and we will see you soon.